Hello everyone, and welcome to week 12 of English 120. This week you're going to continue to read Jack London's The Valley of the Moon. You're going to read in Book 2, chapters 10 through 16. Also this week you're going to have a conversation on MLA format, and really the theory behind MLA format. Comp class this week, you'll be learning about MLA document format proficiency. For your research journal, you'll be answering study questions about our readings for The Valley of the Moon, and the annotated bibliography assignment will be introduced. It will be due on April 28th. So this week's discussion forum will be on MLA format. What I'd like you to do is to find something original to cite in MLA format. Many of you have already been exposed to how to cite a book or an article, and if you haven't, then you can easily look in chapter 21 of the Bedford Researcher, which I'll be talking about in just a second, as a way to look up how to cite pretty much all standard documents. But MLA format and MLA citation has to do with something more. In this video that you're going to be watching, Professor Rife is going to explain how she cites a cereal box by adapting the MLA format, because she talks about the, as she says in her video, by using the basic principles of MLA citation, you can cite just about anything in MLA format as long as you think creatively about how to cite it. So, that being said, you could cite your iPhone, or you could cite your lip gloss, or you could cite your, your favorite car. This week, what I want you to do is to find an object, document, or other thing. So besides a book, article, movie, or web page, besides the traditional stuff we normally cite, and the most creative posts will get extra credit. So what I want you to do in your discussion post is to first cite your thing in MLA format. And then after you put your citation in correct MLA format, I want you to explain how you chose your thing to cite and the process you went through to cite it. Use pages 337 to 356 in chapter 21 of the Bedford Researcher for details on how to cite your sources. You'll see listed here a variety of types of things to cite, from books to unsigned newspaper articles, to maps, to lectures, to musical compositions, to blogs, to online film clips. Find the one that is closest to the thing you're citing and use this entry as a model. Make sure you let us know which one you are using as a model. Please know that you will not get full credit this week unless you tell me which citation you are using as a model. And try to be creative. Try to find the model that most seems like what you are citing. So don't just go straight to the book, which is the easiest one to do. After you do this, I want you to respond to your peers' posts. I want you to talk to them about what kind of citations that they're doing and what you learned by looking at their use of MLA format theory. As always, please post your initial post by Saturday at 11:59 p.m. for full credit. I look forward to seeing all of the cool things that you guys are going to cite this week. Every semester I'm surprised by what people choose. So we're going to continue to work on your research project this week. This week I'll be introducing your annotated bibliography assignment. It's assigned in week 12, but will be due actually in week 13. It's worth 100 points. So it's worth a lot of points. So please make sure you pay attention to exactly how I would like you to format this document. Which brings me to the assignment. The annotated bibliography, which is worth 100 points, is due on April 28th. That's at 11:59 p.m. In your annotated bibliography, you're going to use at least 6 academic sources. The document should be approximately 4 to 6 pages long. For this assignment, you're going to be compiling an annotated bibliography of at least 6 sources that are related to the topic you've chosen to write your research paper on. So you may be asking, what is an annotated bibliography? It is a list of citations to books, articles, and other resources. Each citation is followed by a brief descriptive and evaluative paragraph, the annotation. The purpose of the annotation is to inform the reader of the relevance, accuracy, and quality of the sources cited. So here's the process I want you to go through. Identify 6 sources you feel are relevant to your research topic. Create citations for each source in MLA format. Write concise 1 to 2 paragraph annotations that summarize the central theme and scope of your sources. These annotations should include an evaluation of the authority, background, and education of the author. Comment on the intended audience. For whom was it written? What skill level or education must the reader have? Compare or contrast this work with another you have cited. Discuss how this work explains your selected topic. What perspective on your topic does this work provide? So here's an example. For each annotation, you'll begin with a citation. Again, see Chapter 21, pages 337 to 356, on how to do correct MLA citation. For books, see page 338, and for articles, see page 344. So, for example, here is how to cite The Valley of the Moon by Jack London. Last name, London, comma, first name, Jack, period. The Valley of the Moon is in italics or underlined because it's a book, period. The city of publication, Berkeley, comma, California, colon. University of California Press, that's the place of publication, period. The date of publication, 1999, period. The format that I read it in is print. An article looks something like the article above. Last name, Mundy, comma, first name, Lisa. Title of the article, Souls on Ice, period, comma, end of quotation. Mother Jones is the title of the periodical where this article was found. July-August 2006 is the issue where this article is found. Pages 39 through 45 are the pages where this article is found. So really, annotations, as you write them, are like addresses so that the reader can find this material. If they find something in your paper that they want to refer to and look up, they should be able to find it by using the citation. After you include a citation for each entry, for each source you're citing, you're also going to include a summary. In the summary, the writer writes an objective, accurate summary of the article, focusing on the publication, that's the blue stuff up here, and the writer, that's the green stuff up there, and the audience, that's the red stuff up there, and the writer's thesis, and the most relevant key points the writer makes. So, when I summarize the article by Lisa Mundy, called Souls on Ice, from Mother Jones, that was published in 2006, the summary says, Mother Jones is a liberal magazine published 6 times per year with nationwide readers. The magazine publishes articles on current issues that are thoroughly researched and written to make the reader think. Noted by the magazine, Mother Jones is an independent non-profit whose roots lie in commitment to social justice implemented through first-rate investigative reporting. Notice a quotation here that is pulled from the Mother Jones website. One way you can find this information is whatever periodical you're using or press you're using, you can look them up on the internet and get more information about them. As a staff writer for the Washington Post, Lisa Mundy started writing on infertility in 2003. So we get more information about the writer, why she's qualified to write this article. So perhaps there'll be some information about where someone went to school, or how long they've been writing about the topic that you're looking at. Her article is written for the general reader, but also for all those considering IVF, in vitro fertilization, and those who have gone through the process. So the red part is talking about the audience, right? Who is this article written for? And then comes the summary itself. The article raises awareness to the current and future dilemma of excess embryos. This article points out that in vitro fertilization presents ethical dilemmas that need to be dealt with, but that are often ignored. Couples have basically 5 options to decide what to do with the unused embryos. She goes through the 5 options. There is one more option that couples are choosing to do with the estimated 500,000 embryos, and that is nothing. The lack of action is what is fueling the debate over the unused embryos and what will be the final outcome for these, quote, souls on ice. So this summary talks in depth about what what this article is about. Please remember, last week's work that we did in Comp Class is really going to prepare you for writing a summary. Remember, a summary is just the facts. It's not your opinion yet. There's no you inserted in here. This is just the facts, what the article is about. The second thing you're going to do is evaluation. So in your evaluation, you're going to explain why you've chosen this article. You're going to include why you find it to be reliable. Evaluations can discuss reliability, relevance, currency, logic, style, and more. Evaluations don't have to be 100% positive, but they should show that the source has enough strengths to make it worthwhile for others to read and use. You should only be evaluating and using sources that you feel will be relevant to your research study. So most of your evaluation should be fairly positive. It may be that just an article or a book is not working for you. So here's a sample evaluation. Mundy wrote a realistic and credible article on the torment couples are facing with the question of what to do with unused embryos after IVF. Mundy has done her research to write about a subject that is emotional and brings to light the need for guidance and counseling for couples considering this procedure. It is indeed a thought-provoking article on a subject that must be well thought out because of the continued growth of embryos and because of the possibilities for medical advancement through research using these embryos. So you see, the writer brings in their opinion on how well Mundy dealt with this topic and why this article might be important. Your response comes in the next section. And remember, all of these sections will be done for each annotation that you do. You have 2 weeks to work on this, so it's a lot of time. The response is an informal response that describes how the source affected the writer's opinion. So this is where you give your opinion. Here's a sample response. I did not realize the amount of unused embryos that are frozen in limbo. I agree with Mundy that something has to be done. As fertility, medicine, and procedures advance, more and more eggs are frozen, and the dilemma, what to do with them, should be resolved. As quoted in Mundy's article, this embryo glut is forcing many people to reconsider excuse me, whatever they thought about issues such as life and death and choice and reproductive freedom. This article has made me think in a new way about this issue. So you can see that this was a positive response, bringing in evidence from the text to support why it's a positive response. So that is how you will be writing your annotations. You will include each section. You will include a citation, a summary, an evaluation, and a response for each of the 6 entries in your annotated bibliography. At this point, you should have 6 solid academic sources. If you do not and you need help, I would love to see you in my office hours, or I can meet you in the library. We can set up a time to go look for sources. I also have lots of great ideas of places to find more information if you're stuck. Also, don't forget about our librarians. They would love to help you. So this week for your research journal, you're going to be writing answers to, after you actively read Book 2, Chapters 10 through 16 in the Valley of the Moon, you're going to answer the following questions in your own post using evidence from the text and possibly outside sources by Tuesday, April 21st at 11:59 p.m. What name did Saxon want to name her child? Why? How does Billy feel about having more children after their recent loss? What was the outcome of the riot? Who died? What was gained? Is Jack London's depiction of the riot due to a union strike representative of this time? How so? How does Saxon see it differently than Billy? Why has Oakland become the center for the battle of organized labor during this time period? What shifts do we begin to see in Billy once he loses his job? Give specific details. What dreams does he begin to have in Chapter 12, and what do they mean? Do you think he will suffer the same fate as Bert? Why does Billy return to prize fighting? What happens to Saxon in Chapter 16? This is an important moment in the book. Where is Saxon before she meets John/Jack? What do you think the rats represent? And pay special attention to John/Jack as he is a young Jack London come to visit Saxon. And Jack London will appear several times in this book. What message does John/Jack have for Saxon about what's beyond the hills of Oakland? Remember that when Jack London was outlining the story to his publishers, he mentioned that it would be the woman who would have the vision that would set Billy and Saxon off on their quest. Where do you think Saxon's dreams will lead her and Billy? What happens to Billy and Saxon's relationship during these chapters? Give details. Why does Saxon become lonely? This week for comp class, you'll be working on MLA document format proficiency. As always, you'll have until April 21st at 11:59 p.m. to complete your comp class lesson. Please make sure you keep up with these as they are 30% of your grade. All right, that's it for this week. Next week, we will continue to read Valley of the Moon through the end of Book 2 and the beginning of Book 3 when they go off on their quest. We will have a conversation about the Valley of the Moon. We will be doing a comp class lesson on online research and some work on your annotations in our research journal. And finally, your annotated bibliography will be due at the end of week 13. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Please let me know if you have any questions. See you online.